What's going on, y'all? You are tuned in to the Hot List. I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Realty, and I come to y'all Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We hang out and talk real estate. I answer a question of the day that is submitted by a listener of the podcast or past client. I do this because if one person has that question, the chance that somebody else has that question is extremely high. This is a way for me to give back to the community, help people out simply by answering their question, recording an episode just like this one, and putting it out there for others to find. If you have a question of the day or a question about real estate, you're not sure where to start, I would be happy to be the real estate resource that you reach out to and start with to get your question answered. I will not only answer that question for you, but use it for future content just like this one. So, again, I can get in front of more people, help them get their questions answered, and help them springboard to a little more in depth question just to help them out. So, again, I do this Monday through Friday, and this is free. There is no charge for this. The only thing I ask that you like, subscribe, or share this out, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or whatever podcast player that you are tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a review. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you would like to see different as well. This is pretty low budget, and I'm trying to do the best I can here to help y'all out. So today's question of the day: are there areas in my home I should be cleaning? And there's no doubt that cleaning is important. That should be pretty obvious. And I'm sure you're like me. The last thing you want to do after you're working or you come home from work is clean. It can be kind of daunting, especially areas that need cleaning more often than others. And yet, there are spots that need more attention than they might currently be getting right now in the house. This is going to be especially true for areas that are we'll call them either out of sight or maybe out of mind. Maybe they're not easily noticeable because it's not a high traffic area, or just something that you don't really think about. Now, of course, the specifics for cleaning and maintenance are going to depend on the home, what's in it, how it's laid out, which may be some areas to consider, and may not be getting enough attention. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about top 4 interior and top 4 exterior areas to pay more attention to. So, because I'm splitting it up, doing 4 and 4, this is by no means an exhaustive list. These are just areas that are often overlooked. Depending on your house, again, there may be other areas or rooms that may need to be added to the list. But today we are going to answer: are there areas I should be cleaning, by addressing 8 common areas not getting enough attention in your home. So, first, we're going to start with the interior of your house, because we obviously spend most of our time here when we get home. So we'll kind of start here, work our way out, and I'm sure you're like me. You picture cleaning your house, whether you do it now or growing up. Sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, dusting, taking the trash out, picking up room after room after room after room, and yelling at your kids or getting yelled at as a kid to pick your shit up. And it's one of those things that never ends. It's like death and taxes. One of those things that's always going to be guaranteed. Your house is going to need to be picked up. So, starting off, we're going to talk about 4 interior areas that may need some more attention. First off the bat is going to be your washer and dryer. I would absolutely recommend cleaning your washer at least, on like once every week, every other week, at a minimum, once a month. Now, this is obviously going to depend on the usage, what type of washer that you have. But if you use your washer, you're going to need to clean it. Uh, you don't want it just sitting there not getting used. Now you can purchase a excuse me, a number of tablets that you can just drop in the washer, turn on the normal cycle, and that tablet will dissolve, help clean the washer, spin, drain, good to go. What you can also do, depending on type of washer that you have, you can also pour white vinegar into where you would normally pour detergent. That's not only going to clean that detergent area out, but it's also sorry, having trouble talking this morning, but it's also going to clean the entire washer and make sure there's none of that mold or mildew smell building up. If you have a front load washer, you may have a little like screen or catch at the bottom of your washer. That absolutely needs to be cleaned out at a minimum of once a month. Now, just keep in mind it's at the bottom, so it's below the water level. So when you unscrew that, you're going to have water come out. So have some towels to catch it, a bucket, pot, pan, whatever the case may be. And then also your dryer needs to be cleaned while you're doing this as well. This should be cleaned at a minimum of once a month, again, depending on how often you use it. And take a vacuum, starting on the inside, and just suck out the lint trap of the dryer. Since you have the vacuum, I would recommend disconnecting the dryer and the dryer vent and then running your vacuum hose up that vent. This is going to remove any lint that is stuck or trapped in the vent, and then go on the outside of your house. I know winter's not ideal, especially when it's snowing like today, but if you do it on the outside of your house as well, that gives you a chance to make sure that your screen or trap on the outside is still in good condition. Nothing has eaten away or snuck into it. Pull that off, run the hose in that way as well, and this is going to remove any any lint, keep it from getting plugged up, which is going to be a fire hazard. The next one are blinds and curtains. I'm also going to lump ceiling fans into this because I think they get overlooked as well, because dust on your blinds or curtains, whichever one you have, and ceiling fans is a pretty obvious sign that it's time to clean and they need to be clean. I definitely want to do this sooner rather than later because this is going to build up over time, could eventually build up with grease or dirt, which is going to make it harder to clean because it's going to stick to that material and potentially stain it, just depending on what it is. Now, it may seem like it's going to take a long time to, clean all your blinds or curtains or ceiling fans, depending on how many you have. But once you start working it into your routine, maybe even splitting up the work and just, going room by room, it just becomes like anything else, just something that happens, something that gets done, and it just becomes simple. Your curtains are pretty simple because all you have to do is take those down and throw them in the washer. Your blinds, whether you take some spray, washcloth, microfiber cloth, whatever you use, you can use the same thing on ceiling fans. Wipe those down, keep that dust from being circulated throughout the air, also help reduce your allergies as well. Number 3 is definitely something people don't think about very often, and that is your refrigerator. This is, like I said, overlooked all the time because you just walk by it. This is one of the few appliances in your house that actually runs 24/7. And depending on the style of the fridge you have, you're either going to have coils on the back or coils underneath. My particular fridge, I have coils underneath. We have to pull out and take off the back and then run the vacuum back there. Keeping these clean in the front, the back, however you access it, is going to make sure that proper airflow is coming through so the fridge is not going to overheat. Avoid any potential food contamination, and just make sure that it's going to run the way that it should. Since you're doing that, you might as well clean the inside of the fridge too. You can, whether you do it one shelf at a time, so you just have to pull out and put back a minimum number of items, or you clear out multiple shelves, the entire thing. That is up to you. Either way, this removes anything sticky or spilled or God knows whatever your kid did or put in the fridge, or left in the fridge. Who knows? But just doing that is gonna just get you into that routine. Doing it once a month stays on top of it, and you don't open the door to the fridge and get smacked with that. Oh my God, what smell is that? Had 3 kids, been there. And finally, number 4 inside is going to be your furniture. Especially if you have upholstered furniture, I would recommend vacuuming at a minimum of once a month. This is going to get rid of any crumbs, dirt. It's going to cut back on dust, dander, other types of allergens, and especially if you have pets. Doesn't matter what kind of pet it is. They're all going to add to it, especially if they shed, like 2 of the 3 dogs that I have. You can also help reduce this by getting a cloth that is made for. So our couch, we have a like a overthrow or cloth that's made to go over the couch. All we have to do is either clean that, pull that out, and wash it once a week, put it back. This keeps whatever's on their paws, especially in the snow or rain, from getting on there, and again helps keep their shedding under control. So now that we've covered the 4 inside, we're going to move to the outside of the house, which a lot of people see because they walk by, but they just choose to ignore it, or convince themselves they don't have time. This is also not going to be an exhaustive list. Depending on where you live, the features of your home, the layout of your home may need to be addressed more often, or other things could be added to the list. But the first one I want to start with is, in my opinion, extremely important and overlooked by so many people, and that is your external HVAC components. If you have central heat and air, it's likely you have some type of large unit on the outside. Maybe it gets cleaned once or twice a year at best, just like window units. If you don't have central air, your window units, I'm sure they're along the same thing. These actually need to be checked and cleaned at least 3 to 4 times a year, so once every season. And the reason for that is, with those fans, they're either going to attract, suck in, or blow out a lot of dirt, dust, and leaves. Not to mention, God knows whatever else is in the air. And if the fins and everything are plugged, it's not going to run as efficiently as it could, because it's dirty versus clean. So it has to work that much harder and run more often than it would otherwise. Number 2 is patios and walkways. We're at that time of year, at least here, there's leaves on the ground, in the flower beds. I'm sure they've got blown up against your house. And we're not too far off from that time of year that it's going to be that time to start mowing, and that's just going to add grass clippings everywhere and to be scattered. So these can eventually have negative effects on walkways, stonework, and even even wood like your deck or your stairs, because these can potentially leave stains, chip away, or decay over time. So these, again, at a minimum, clean once a month. Obviously, summer and the fall needs to be a little more often to keep up with grass clippings and leaves. But doing this is also going to reduce the chance that you take grass clippings or leaves on the bottom of your shoes inside, and have more cleaning to do inside as well. Number 3, garage doors. I'm sure everybody listening was not expecting me to say garage doors. When's the last time you cleaned your garage door? Do you even know? These, just like the walkways and your HVAC system, should be cleaned at least once a season. Not only the door, but the tracks inside as well, because cleaning these prevents any type of buildup from dirt or debris, so they keep running smooth, doesn't clog them or get jammed. And if you have rollers, add some lubricant to those rollers once, maybe twice a year. That'll make a huge difference in the operation of your garage door. But keeping the garage door itself clean is going to go a long way in keeping up the appearance of the exterior house. It's going to reduce staining, discoloration, and if you have a wood door, it's going to reduce the chance that you have some type of wood rot over time. And then number 4 item is going to be gutters. I don't know how many times we've talked about gutters on the podcast. Likely right now you clean them once a year in the fall when they get full of leaves. Maybe you have to clean it twice depending on where you live. But there are other times it needs to be cleaned throughout the year because of seed pods, pollen, dirt, or dust that all get washed down onto the shingles or blown in there from the wind. Over time, this is going to clog up your gutters, cause more issues. And again, if you get into the habit of doing this once a season, this is going to ensure the proper flow of gutters carrying water away from your house and not plugged and just spilled over onto the foundation, causing erosion or holding water around the foundation, which you obviously don't want. So those are the 4 outside. I do want to cover some honorable mentions. I'm not going to go into great detail because I feel like these are kind of self-explanatory. But bricks, siding, and windows. These are all going to have some type of buildup, especially going from winter to spring, and maybe fall to winter. They're going to have some type of algae, discoloration, some type of buildup on them. So clean those as well. Whether it's a power washer on the bricks and the siding or your exterior windows. Every time you clean the inside windows, go clean the outside as well as the surrounding area. That's going to go a long way into keeping those clean, making them look good as well. So that's it. Those are the 8 common areas that are not getting enough attention. On the inside, your washer and dryer, like I said, at a minimum, clean at least once a month. Clean out the screens, clean out the dryer vent to reduce fire hazard. Blinds and curtains, by staying on top of those, you're going to reduce the allergens in the air, reduce the dust buildup and potentially staining on them. Your fridge. I mean, seriously, when's the last time you cleaned your fridge? Whether you have to pull off the grill on the front, pull it out and get access to the back, just clean or vacuum underneath it. Help that airflow as best it can and keep your fridge running properly, because it is one of the only appliances that runs 24/7. And then number 4 was furniture, especially upholstered furniture. Clean once a month, get rid of dirt, crumbs, God knows what kids did to it. And then if you have pets, you may want to do that at least twice a month. On the outside of the house, the external HVAC components like your AC unit, I would recommend cleaning that at least once a season. With that fan, it's going to attract a lot of leaves, dirt, and other debris. And if it's dirty, it's not going to run as efficiently as it could. So make sure you get it clean and reduce your utility bill. Your patios and walkways, clean them from leaves, grass clippings. That way you don't take them inside. Garage doors. I'm sure most people listening can't even remember the last time they cleaned their garage door, but just power wash it because it's going to go a long way to keeping the exterior of your appearance, reduce discoloration, staining, and then you also want to clean the tracks on your garage door as well. Uh, Make sure that they're clear of any debris, dirt, dust, and lubricate those as well. And then finally, gutters. We've talked about gutters on the show I don't know how many times, so I'm not going to go into great detail about that. So that's it. That is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I have included links in the description to catch up on previous episodes through Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can also find it on Amazon Music. Don't forget to like, subscribe, so as new episodes come out, you get notified and they get downloaded right to your podcast player of choice. Again, I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a phenomenal day. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.